give these two people a proper introduction. You know, I don't bring people into the Dr. Don radio show raggedy. We don't make you sit on the plastic couch like grandma used to. We make you feel comfortable. We're going to go ladies first. Is that all right with you, Larry?
Yes, indeed. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes. If so, you would be removed from the video. Anyway. But no, I'm kidding. I'm
No.
kidding. Okay, she is new to the Dr. Don radio show. She is a newbie, okay? But she's not nervous because she ain't new to this. She's true to this, talking about this topic. Tiara Abu. Did I say that right, darling?
Tiara.
Tiara Abu. Tiara Abu. Yeah.
Tiara.
Tiara Abu. Tiara Abu. So look, she is the founder and CEO of She Can Work. She is a career educator, a leadership coach, and she is a serial entrepreneur. Let us welcome to the Dr. Don radio show, Miss Tiara. All right. Welcome, girl. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You should be. But if I call you TT, don't be, because it's just girl.
Oh, please call me TT.
Okay.
Now we sisters. We cousins.
Now we sisters. Yeah. LB and TT. I don't want to call you TB. I'll call you TT. Okay, but last but not least, but welcome to the show, TT. And look, we are so excited to hear what you have to say. And shout out to Miss Cat, who recommended you to come in her place. I said, I need a Black businesswoman. I know many, but I like to add fresh faces, right, sometime. And she said, you got to reach out to Miss Abu. So I did. And last but not least, we have this brother. If I was ever to take a vacation, Larry could fill in for me. Keep the show going.
I got you. No doubt
Yeah,
about it.
he absolutely could. In fact, he uses my questions on his show, but we ain't going to talk about that right now.
Yes, I do.
Hey, it is what it is. But I got to give this brother a proper introduction. Larry W. Brooks. The W stands for wealth. Am I right about it, Larry?
You know, I love that. That right there works for me.
Larry W. Brooks. He is the Texas real estate king. He is an author, speaker, serial entrepreneur, and he is the Brooks of Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC. How are you, Larry?
I'm doing amazing, Dr. Dunn, and it is great to be in front of you. And I want to off top tell you, thank you so much for always recognizing us that are out in the community and trying to do something to expand our culture. Thank you for not only doing this when the month is here that it counts, but also just doing this on a weekly basis with us. We really, really appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you all. Is everybody ready for this conversation? Is everybody comfortable? T, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
She's ready. She can work and she helps everyone work. First question. I want to start with you, T. Give us a little introduction, okay, of who you are and what you do, because I like my guests to know I have people who have a proven track record on the topic.
Yep. So I'm Tiara Abu. I am the CEO of She Can Work, y'all, but I'm a woman who has been an entrepreneur since I was 13 years old. So I started off really early understanding that you can really build wealth, you can do things you are passionate about, and you can do that all while like really making money, like for real makes money. People trusted me at 13 to do hair in their basement, and since then they have trusted me to plan events for them. They have trusted me to coach. They have trusted me to lead trainings. I'm a career educator, so my background is in education. I've been a teacher, assistant principal. I have founded schools. I have led schools across the state of Texas.
Wow.
I have coached superintendents, school principals, doctors, lawyers, dentists. I'm a leadership and performance coach. So I really believe that if you set a goal for yourself that is higher than where you are today, there's nothing holding you back from that except for you. So I work with my clients to understand what's holding them back so we can propel them forward. And as She Can Work, just a really quick, introduction to She Can Work. When I was leadership coach at the beginning of 2020, a lot of my leadership clients, very powerful women, very successful women, were coming to me concerned about their finances. Okay. And my men clients weren't, and the men in my life weren't. My husband was not. It was right when bodies were piling up in New York, and only the women were concerned. And so I started wondering what is happening with women and money that is different from men and their money, and learn things like women couldn't get bank accounts until the 60s. or lines of
Wow.
without a male co-signer until the 70s.
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all, like Black people are new to freedom. Women are new to managing their money. And so when you tell people to just bootstrap, get it together, do your best when they haven't had the
The
education
tools.
correct,
Right.
then that's an injustice. So for me, the other thing that I like to call myself, other than entrepreneur and mom and leadership coach and all those things, is a justice fighter. And so I said we can do something to actually open access to women and really have candid conversations about money and teach them about it. So we started She Can Work, and I started She Can Work in January of 2021 as a financial education company. Quickly learned that Black women kept really being held back because they didn't have access to capital. Learned that access to capital was not because we were Black women, but a lot of times was because we did not have the strong structural foundations in our businesses that allowed us to have that access. So I said, well, why don't we get more access to capital by having business plans, financial statements, having our businesses registered, and understanding that you can make money, y'all. You can really make money in a business, but you're not building a company unless you actually have a plan in place and you're able to have a strong foundation that allows you to grow that and scale that. So that's what I do now. We are a business development company. We help women establish a strong foundation in their business so they can grow and scale.
Very good. And I love the community piece to that story, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you, Larry? I mean, I find that many people, their businesses were started on purpose, right? Yeah. On a purpose. Some people, you saw what was missing in the industry and you filled the gap. Or like you, T, I love that. Larry, tell us about what you do, brother.
I am Larry W. Brooks, like you said, the Texas Real Estate King. I've been in, I tease my friends about, I'm the one friend that they have that have never really had a job. I've been in real estate.
You have not. Larry has never worked for anyone else, ever. When he got out of college, he never.
I did. I walked right into this real estate industry, found my niche, found my space, found my tribe, and have built one of the largest independent-owned brokerage firms in Texas. And Dr. Dunn, I've actually recently, over the last 2 weeks, decided to join another real estate company. So it's never been done before. I'm actually a broker myself, have my own company, but I'm actually joining Arvo Realty, which is a independent commercial brokerage firm, and that's all they focus on. I decided going into my third quarter of life, I want to do something different. Like I feel like I'm Jordan. I'm hitting all the shots I need to hit, but I'm not ready to retire yet. So instead of retiring, I decided to go into a third quarter, which is commercial real estate. I'll be heavily focused on that going into this third quarter of life.
Yeah. I love that. And can I tell y'all before we get deep into this thing? Like, there's a million different nuggets these people have shared, and we hadn't even really gotten deep. I said before we started, y'all, you can never get comfortable. Mm-hmm. You can never get comfortable. I don't care where you are in business. We can always do more. We can never get complacent. I love that. But we got to start. Yeah. We got to start. But I also said everybody's not called to be an entrepreneur either. So, okay, let's be real about it. If you're an employee newer, there's no shame in that.
No, not
if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, there's no shame in that. You get home at 5 and you go to bed. Because I don't know that life. But I'm just saying, if I get to bed come on, let's be honest. But I think that is great. You have to see, because Larry, you technically could retire.
Yeah,
right?
In all honesty, I think I did when I was in my early 30s. I literally did. Like I had enough finances, enough things coming in. And I mean, I just didn't have really a reason besides the ideal of that I'm young. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, as you say that, Dr. Dunn, I was looking at the guy, Mitch McConnell, on the news the other day, or when he was doing his speech, I'm like, the guy is 82 years old. I say, why am I even thinking about something like retirement when you got people that are really, we got presidents. Our president is 80. Our president is 80 years old.
Yeah.
Let's just let that sit in. This dude is running the largest organization in the world, which is the United States, and he's 80 years old. Come on, I'm not thinking retirement doesn't even come into play for me. Yeah. I just want to go have a quality life, do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I achieved that at 30. So
I love that. T, don't you believe? And I tell you, I believe it doesn't matter, because there's somebody saying, well, I'm 50, I'm 60. So what?
So
What do you
what?
say to that? Because I'm telling you right now, the excuses are coming. That's easy for them. They have a college degree. T, talk about it. Doesn't matter how old you are or where you start.
Talk about it. Tell them about it. Tell them about T. Tell them about the KFC. The gentleman that started KFC didn't do it till he was 50 years old. Right?
Listen, I just told somebody yesterday. I literally in a work session just told somebody yesterday. The president became the president when he was already old.
Yeah.
He was, in fact, this person is in their 50s. I said the president didn't think, I don't even know if he was thinking about becoming the president when he was in his 50s.
But he knew what we couldn't have in that White House. What we didn't need it. So he's like, let me get up here. Yeah.
I said, look, when God gave you the idea, when he put it in your mind, and when he gave you the breath to breathe, and the ability to move your limbs or not, the ability to move forward to do it, then that's your time. There actually is no age.
Go ahead.
There's just no age. There is no age.
And if you look in the Bible, and see, people, let me tell you something. If we go to the Bible, God used Moses at 80. What he used, look at the people he used in the Bible at an old age. Okay. You cannot, young too. You cannot make excuses. Ages, forget all that. What if, as long as it's in you now, while you got breath in your body, you better do it. Because sometimes God doesn't call you to do it till 50, right? So to stop worrying about what you didn't start with and all that. Now you know God has put it in you. It's time to move forward. Now, first question. We've got to get started on this. I looked up the definition of a serial entrepreneur, and I'm going to read this to you. And first, I want to hear from you, Larry, and then you, T. The definition of a serial entrepreneur: one who can repeatedly turn creative ideas into successful business strategies. So this is my question for both of you. I'm going to start with you. I want to hear from you first, Larry. Many have creative ideas. We know many people, creative ideas. But what are some of the challenges, the reason why people cannot turn their ideas into success?
That's a simple one. Consistency, right?
Oh, that's what you see?
It's consistency, because at the end of the day, it's consistency and faith, right? Like faith without faith is the term that comes up. And when they talk about in the Bible, they talk about having faith of a mustard seed. And at the end of the day, you got faith when you're starting a business. It's something that you may not see for 45, 60 days, whatever. It depends on your industry. If it's someone that's getting into a real estate with a real estate license, they're not going to see the fruits of their labor for almost 6 months after getting licensed. And then the whole while they're going through class and they looking at HGTV, someone is telling them, oh, real estate is amazing. It's easy. But then when they get into real life to become a practitioner of that activity, they find out that it's a 6-month process before they may see their very first check. So you got to do the work every single day as though you're receiving income from something that you're not just yet. You got to have that vision and that consistency. So I would say the challenge that I see most often when I'm coaching and training young realtors to become successful or to duplicate things that I've done in the past is the consistency that they don't see the fruits from the labor week 2. So they want to stop. They want to break down or try something new. No, you got to stick with the process, trust the process, and consistency.
That's good. We want microwave success. That's what we want today. Society
is giving it to them like that. And I listen to them all the day. It's not that. That's not what we live in.
Well, social media paints a tainted picture of what success is, because you can speed up the Instagram reel, right? and look like you walk into your office, then you walk into 10 business meetings. All of that, I love that. We are not consistent. Some of us aren't consistent. T, what do you see?
Consistency was going to be one of mine.
Okay.
I think my other two is you don't know your numbers.
Talk about it.
I'm like, and we do this on the first day of our program. We start with like, how much money does it take for you to run this business?
That's good.
Because when we do that, quickly women find that actually it's costing me to run this business. I'm paying more. I'm making no money. I'm actually paying for this.
That's good.
And so I tell them that because you don't know the numbers. You put together a sponsorship deck, you put some numbers on a pretty slide, and then you wonder why the event is actually not generating any revenue. It's because those numbers were just made up out of your head or from somebody's deck that you pulled.
Wow.
Or you knew you wanted to make, somebody said, I'm going to make, she told me I'll make $1 million. Okay. Tell me where that number came from. Tell me where it came from. But when we break down your numbers, it costs you $600,000 to run the business. So you're not going to bring home $1 million.
Wow.
So I think the numbers, like not knowing the numbers, and I don't see this as often with men. I see it a lot with women.
But you
and
meet with women though.
Yeah, and I don't like to generalize, but I'm like, man,
yeah.
y'all, when I talk to my male friends who are entrepreneurs, they know they are showing me on their phones their investments. They're showing me on their phone revenue. They pulling out their Stripe because they want to tell me. Women ain't telling me. I'm like, well, how much money you make last week? Well, I sold. And I'm like, you were too smart, too brilliant, too beautiful, too blessed to be talking so ambiguously. Like you need to be concrete and know your numbers. And then I think the last thing in short is just implementation. Like you sitting on stuff too long, you need to move forward. And I said it earlier, if God gave you the breath, then you should be moving. He gave you the idea already. He gave you the ability to move it forward. Now go. And I see people sit too long on ideas.
You know what? I think also, and I love what both of you have said, knowing the numbers. Biggest mistake I made in business, one of the biggest mistakes. I started my business. I had the website. I was so excited, right? This was Obsessed with Media a few years ago. I bought all the marketing materials, business cards. I spent money on merch, banners.
We've all been there.
Right? Yeah. And I was excited, and in the beginning, it was good clients, and I would meet people, right? And then some things happened, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, where are my clients? It's not coming in, but I'm sitting up looking at a banner and merchandise and 3,000 business cards. We don't get all excited with all that foolishness, right? We're spending money. Again, if I had known the numbers, but I had to learn that lesson. Mm-hmm. Research. We don't do our research. I should have done my research, and I own it. We have to do our research, and T and Larry, but we don't know. Go to Google, right? Go to T, go to Larry. Do you think sometimes it's shame? We're shamed to ask for help?
You know, we shouldn't be, right? Because you got things like
there is. We don't want to look. We don't want to look like a failure. We putting up an image. Oh, if I ask Larry, then maybe he'll think, or people will think. Or if I go to T, I'm ashamed to open my books. Some people are ashamed to open the books. They don't want T to see the numbers.
It's the implementation, but the thing is we don't know what we don't know. So you have to ask the questions. Yeah. And the thing is, you're right. I see it all the time. People won't go to things like Google, and I'm thinking to myself, do you not know how to send the prompt? You know, the prompt is just the verbiage. I can just throw whatever it is that I'm thinking into it and let Google figure it out. Let YouTube figure out how to do some of those steps, right? I mean, of course, you need an expert when you want to implement some things, because somebody's going to always leave out a loop or a possibility that you need. But yes, I agree. At some point, you have got to just kind of like throw it out there. Let something work for you. But if you're keen to keeping it in, or you don't know how to ask the question or explain the question, that's a totally different beast.
Yeah.
I think it's also
because if I come to you, you're going to see the numbers. I'm putting up a front. I didn't make what I'm posting on social media that I've made. We got to be honest. Talk about that.
I think some of it is shame. I think we deal with a lot of shame when women come to us. It is. And it also is like, I'm shamed because I knew better than this, but I did it anyway.
Or I shouldn't have let it get that far.
Yeah, I shouldn't have let it go this far or whatever. I'm like, y'all, we all make that mistake. Everybody does. And there's not a part of your life where you haven't overshot it, overthought it.
That's right.
Maybe thought you would be more successful than you were and fell on your face. We've all had it. Maybe it wasn't with your money. Some of us have been blessed since the beginning. I know people in my circle who have been, it feels like they were fiscally responsible when we were 11. Like, he been a baller the whole time. But there's some of us who had to really struggle through it, who had to make some big mistakes, get our credit score lowered, have a negative bank account, and then figure it out. What I tell my business owners is that's business. Yeah. Like some of the largest corporations are carrying negative accounts.
That's right.
The point is, do you have money in front of you?
Yes. That's
so
right.
if you can look up and say, I'm generating enough revenue, because sometimes the invoices just are not paid.
Yeah.
Some of our invoices take 90 days to get paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of them, I'm waiting on the invoice 3 months, 4 months down the line, past the 90 days, right?
Yeah.
And so, do you have the money ahead of you?
Yeah.
And if you don't have the money ahead of you, can you generate the revenue so the money is ahead of you? That's what we're
Come on,
asking
sis.
for business.
Come on, sis. That's it right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you if you're perfect, and then go ask for some help. I'm with Larry. Look, just ask for the help. I would rather you see the mess like I'd rather come to your office and you see all of my mess than
Yeah.
for me to fall on my face outside and for the whole world to see it.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
somebody's gonna see it regardless. It's gonna
Mhm.
come a day where more people than you want to are gonna see it. If you keep trying to hide it in the dark, like my mama say, it's all gonna come to the light.
My grandma said that for many years now. Stop.
It's all,
Yes.
everything in
Mhm.
the darkness
It
comes to
will.
the light.
It
Yeah.
will.
So yeah, so like just to go back to your question, I think a lot of times it's shame. But I'm with Larry. I think there is no problem in just asking for help and
Yes.
letting somebody help you. And then forgiving yourself for what you did yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Yeah.
Just move on.
God
You
has
have
moved
to.
on. He is forgiven because I have made money mistakes. And I'm like, but God, I will never make that mistake again. And God, if you restore, you can
Yeah.
trust me. And he does restore, but he has
Yeah.
to see your heart. And I still have to take steps. Don't think because I'm on the radio, oh, she's perfect. She's got, no, there's some foundational things to make it stronger, right?
Mhm.
Because when
Mhm.
God elevates people, we want to have a firm foundation, and God wants that too. Some of
That's
us
right.
have not received the breakthrough because we built on quicksand.
Right.
God's like, I
Oh.
want to bless it, but I need you to go meet with T. I need you to go meet with Larry.
Right.
You haven't done it. I need you to file that paperwork situation. God doesn't want to bless you, and the blessing's going to be just a mess. He wants it. He wants us to be blessed, but there's no excuse for us to not get the information we need. Now, this goes to the next question. Okay, Larry, I want to start with you, then you, T. We're talking about business professionals. Everybody's an expert now on social media, right? The right video, the right reel. I sold 20 houses today, right, Larry? But that's their business, what they doing. T, I'm the business coach for you. Who are you? What is this? You know what I mean? There are people who have been bamboozled and scammed, and y'all know what I'm talking about. How do people discern who to trust? How did they discern who to hire? Yes, you can look them up on Google and all that. But what tips do you have, Larry and T? Because there's somebody who wants to hire a business coach, but how do they know? Because they were scammed by the one before. Talk about it, y'all.
It's tough that you say that because that is so true. It's so many people that they don't even make money in the industry that they're particularly coaching in.
That's right.
They ain't never made a dime doing it, but they are very good at saying that they've done this or retaining the information from someone else over and over again. So I will say that is a challenge for people. It's a challenge even for us as experts in our own industry because we always looking for other coaches, right? You become an amazing expert by continuing to level up and grab people that are at the level that you want to be at, right? I'm looking at people that are talking about $1 billion because I want to be in that same seat. And so as we go through that growth, as we go through that process, it's the same challenge. So I say, I've always found that if in their network of somebody that they've done business with or somebody that they've quote unquote coached or taught, if I can touch at least one person, right? If they're doing big business like that, it should be at least somebody in their network that can be one degree of separation that
That's
I can.
That's right. There's somebody.
I need somebody to co-sign them. And if someone co-signs them, then I have an opportunity to trust them and to move forward with their process. I get it all the time when people reach out to me and they have someone that is co-signing me. I'm all in because I'm going to pour into you because I need you to be successful, because not just because I want to see you win, but because someone trusted me enough to give you my name, to tell you about my resume, that trusted me. I need to continue to stay in good favor with those people so that my blessings continue to look the way that they look. I don't want my blessings to change. It's not about me. I'm not going to take advantage and cheat nobody out of anything. I don't want what God got for people like that.
Yeah. And then if you pay attention, right, I'm not going to ask their friend who's in the picture with them every 5 minutes. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to ask the client who they posted about 3 months ago. Right? Pay attention. Somebody who's always in the picture with, that's a friend. You need to, and then also I suggest putting their name in Google versus see if there is any lawsuits. What kind of, we don't do.
Keeps up with it,
Has Larry been sued? And people can sue people for anything, and we know some of it is just frivolous, right? But look at the character. If I find out T is not in good standing with the BBB, how's she gonna coach me?
They got me on the beach now. On the beach, I just was hanging out on the beach now.
The Better Business Bureau. She's not. We have to pay attention. You have to do some research. T, what do you say? How do people discern? I like that, Larry. Get a recommendation.
Larry's like, get a recommendation. I'm telling people, you need to hire people like you hire people. So be a CEO. If I'm hiring you to help me manage my social media, then I'm not doing that because you sold me something. I'm doing that because I've asked you all the questions I need to ask you to make sure what you're offering is aligned to what I need.
Yeah.
I'm like you said, I'm doing my research. I'm making sure that if your whole business is selling me your business, I probably don't want it. Especially for some things. Like some people tell me, well, I know a woman, she does marketing. Incredible marketing for her own events.
Yeah.
Incredible marketing of herself.
Yeah.
So when she tells me that she's a marketing expert for others, I'm like, yes, ma'am, because I've watched you do it for yourself.
Yeah.
I'll hire you. If you're telling me I'll keep going back to social media managers. It's new for. I mean, it's recent.
Yeah.
If you're hiring a social media manager whose social media is not done well for themselves,
that's good.
Why are we hiring them?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't do that. And so I think
that's good. That's good.
I tell people, think like you are truly a CEO. You will walk into no company and get hired somewhere without an interview, without a vetting process, without somebody going to your social media to see if you were twerking or if you were doing business there. Everybody is doing that. So vet like a CEO. Don't vet like a small business owner don't hire or pay people like a small business owner that needs something. Yeah. They're not coming to you to do you no favors. They're coming to you to represent your company in some way.
That's right.
So interview. That's what I talk about it all the time. I think we hire people, and I've done it. So I'm saying that, like, I love, this is no judgment, just realness. Like, I've done it. I've been like, oh, this looks so good. Let me pay. And now I'm $5,000 into this program. And I'm like,
what is this program?
And how come I haven't seen the person whose face was all over the promotions for this? I haven't seen that person on one call. So shame on me, but I've learned that if your sales team can't answer the questions that I have, then just like your company, if they can't answer the questions that I have, then I cannot hire you.
And then also I look at, that's good. I don't ever hire anyone out of desperation. Because we are led by emotion. My business is failing. Things aren't doing well. I better hire this person right now. And they give a good speech. Don't ever make a decision based on emotion, because some of these people are preying on your emotion.
They are
your vulnerability.
Really good at it.
Right, Larry? They're very good. Right. They know you're a real estate agent who hasn't sold houses in 4 months.
Yeah.
And they're going to sell you a $10,000 package to sell 20 million. I mean, we can't be led by emotion. Can't be led by emotion. Now, that's very good for both of you. And I think we got to stop. Don't ever be desperate, because look, if things have been messed up this long, what's a couple more weeks? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. Yeah. Wait on the right person. You'll be fine, is what I'm saying. But you don't have to be desperate. Okay. And then also, I don't hire people who try to force me and bully me into. Have you ever met somebody like that? Like, if you don't hire me, you'll never make it. Larry, you know those people. You don't know those people. Hey, John, if you talk to John, you'll never make it. Because we can get you. Excuse, are you kidding? I don't like that. That's the worst way. That turns me off.
Hey, that's Dr. Dunn. That is the new script though nowadays.
That ain't the one I'm falling for.
You text messages, emailing, and at some point they want to get your attention. They'll be like, you know what, Larry, you're gonna fail because you ain't called me back.
Yeah. Now, see, I get that. Some of them be funny with it, right? But you have some people, T and Larry, their pitch is, well, if you don't hire me, then you'll just never make it. Or we see what you're doing, and they downplay what you've already done. I don't like that either.
Yeah.
I don't like that either. And I could tell you some stories about that, because those people they're no longer here. Their businesses, they tried to downplay what I was doing, and now they not even here. You see what I'm saying? So that never works. And sometimes when you do that hard sell, it's desperation. Why are you so desperate? Because you don't have it straight. I'm not paying your rent this month, or whatever's going on. But I don't be led by emotion. Now, people, this is another question. I want to start with you, Larry, and then you, T. Very good comments. Very good comments. Now, having the right team, I think that's a challenge. Many of us in business, we're doing things, much of the work alone, right? Especially in the beginning. But how do you get the right team? How do you form the right team?
Yeah. You know, man, and like I was saying earlier, I got close to 90 agents now.
Yeah.
And you know, Dr. Dunn, I would say it's a process. It's not
Mm-hmm.
overnight. It's a process. It's you understanding community, right? Because at some point in life, we thought everybody was motivated by money and cash, and they're not. A lot of people are motivated by just the ideal of family and knowing that you care about them and their success,
That's
even
right.
if they taking their own time getting there.
Yeah.
So I would say, you know, a large part about growing and having the right people around you. I'm blessed enough to right now I'm able to make some of the decisions that I'm making in my life and my career because I have the right people around me. And now I take care of my people, and of course, in return, my people take care of me.
Yeah.
So the thing that we have to learn to, we have to get to a point to where we can level up and we can take care of the people around. We got to meet them where they want to be met at. So it is not, again, it's not always about bonuses and money. It may be about an additional off time. It may be about this what we got going on now, you know, work from home 3 days, come into the office 2 days, right? Like you have got to find a way to find a sweet spot to the people that you plan on being around you and being successful with them. And so what I'm finding is that, you know, you got to take time, step back. For those of us that decided to be parents, just like you take time to understand and have a conversation, adult to child conversation with your kid, and really get to the chance to understand them, your partnerships, your relationships, your business, as you grow your business, the people that you're bringing into your team, you need to talk to them. You need to really understand what their needs and their desires and their visions is. Everyone doesn't want to own a Fortune 500 company that's making millions of dollars. Some people really just want to be able to go on vacation, you know, once a quarter or once a year with their family and not be stressed about how they're going to take care of their bills, right? Like you just got to really find out where they are and meet them right there. And that's what I found. At one point, Dr. Dunn, I went through my career and I'm like, I can get it. I'm gonna get money. You can do this here. I poured into these people what my vision was for them, but it wasn't. It wasn't about the money. It was just about being in the be around right energy, inviting them to events that I might have been going to just because they want to be in be in the room.
Yeah.
So it's just really about meeting those people where they are, and they'll take care of you as well as you taking care of whatever that need is for them. That's my skill on that one.
That's good. And people want a peaceful environment too. They want peace. T, that's good. That's good, Larry. You have to find out what your team wants. It's not about what they can do for you. What do they need as well? Because if they're not at their best, they're not going to serve the company.
You have to start with their needs first. There was a book. It's called I can't think if it's the entrepreneur eat last or the business person eat last. But at the end of the day, I think you eat last. We eat last. What they want comes first. We eat last on that.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
First off, Larry is a vet. And if I was working for folks, I'd come work for you.
Hey, Larry, I'm texting him. I just emailed him my resume. Y'all might see the Dr. Dunn selling y'all some houses in a minute.
You got a programming job over there.
Hello.
I think for me, what I would add to that is you have to train people and make sure they're clear on your expectations. So a lot of times I see leaders in general, even when I was in my full-time job, my managing directors would come to me and be like, but they're not showing up for work and they're not doing it. And I'm like, well, did you tell them they had to? Like, when did they have to be here? Did you tell them that mattered? Or they'll say, well, they don't know how to talk to people. Did you tell them how?
Did you teach them?
Did you tell them? You shouldn't have to teach people how to talk to people, but you do have to teach them the way that is acceptable to you.
For your brand.
For your brand.
Business. Right.
So I tell them that all the time. My favorite one right now is assistance.
Okay.
A lot of women now, for us, we've been told, get some help, sis, get some help. So we always go, I need an assistant. And then we hire an assistant and then we're like, she's not doing what I need her to do. And I'm like, well, what did you need her to do? And then you describe a social media manager. You describe to me a business manager. You're describing to me a marketing coordinator. Like, you're not describing an assistant. So you hired wrong. And then when they got on the job, you never trained them. You never set expectations and train them to meet your expectations. So I think that's one thing I see missing. That's whether it's in entrepreneurship or just leadership in general. We
Yeah.
hire people and we're like, well, I shouldn't have to tell grown folks what to do. And I'm like, no,
You do.
you do have to tell grown people what to do because you have expectations in your head. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that didn't come equipped with is mind reading. Nobody's
Yes.
good with that. So you're gonna have to teach them if that's
Yeah.
what you want them to be taught or to know. I think that would be it for me, other than, listen and be like what all the things that the vet said.
You know what? I seriously, and Larry, you're going to see that on a T-shirt next week. Hey,
But to your point though, a lot of times, like I'm in Dallas, Texas right now at the National Sales Network conference, and I'm seeing people that are here for job interviews, and I'm listening to people that are going to be interviewing them, pulling them to the side, saying, "Hey, first let me have a conversation with you. What wardrobe's supposed to look like?
that's good.
Because our culture, not our culture, but the social media has gotten people to the idea of thinking that for a male, it's okay to have 2 earrings hanging down with flowers on them. You can't do that in no interview. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not where some companies are yet. And so just pulling them to the side saying, hey, I know you like your pink furry shoes, and those are cute on most days, young lady, but not for an interview. So
In the house, yeah.
And we would assume that people know but they don't know. So we really are babysitting the ideal of teaching people step by step on how this communication things look, especially in the real estate field. Like when I first got into real estate, everyone showed houses in suits. Like suits was the thing.
Right.
Now it's no longer the case, but now I got to be able to explain to you why that is, or your business, what your marketing, or what your people around you are going to look like. Your client base is going to look like based on what your wardrobe look like.
That part.
Yeah.
I say that, like, people are like, well, this is my brand. And then I'll say, well, you need to check your target audience.
Yeah.
Because if your brand is speaking to somebody who it's okay to wear, to Larry's point, 2 earrings without flowers on them, then you need to make sure that speaks to the customer that you claim to be trying to attract. Because it's not going to if that's not what attracts them. So did you do your homework? So show up as yourself, but understand that comes with some consequences for you if your brand and your target audience are actually not aligned.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and one of the things I like to do in business, when I meet with people for Obsessed with Media, it's different than the radio personality, right? They're still getting Dawn Paul, but I got to turn it down a notch because everybody doesn't like the turned up. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is for the radio people, but when I'm meeting with you in business, and I actually know what I'm talking, they're like, oh, so you got to show them you know more than radio too.
Yeah.
And that's what people want to see. So you have to know, and you have to adapt to the client. Everybody, you cannot communicate to them the same. And T and Larry, you know that some people need the softer, some people like it directed in your face. You're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to adapt and understand people. And look, I give people time. I'm like, okay, if now's not a good time, then let me know. Reach out to me whenever. And I find that they do. Yeah. I don't have to ever be desperate. We don't ever have to be desperate, because sometimes God is doing you a favor when people don't sign on with you. They can all money is not good money. He did you a favor. Okay. Yeah. That's the bill. And and that was right on time. Now, beautiful people, I want to ask you this, Larry, I want to ask you this, and then T, because we have to talk about the struggle and the journey, right? Because people see the now, but they need to know a little bit about where we came from. So Larry and then T, give me one of your biggest that you feel comfortable sharing, biggest business mistakes, and how did you bounce back? Because there's somebody listening right now saying, man, I've messed up. You can bounce back. Larry and then you, T.
I'll say my biggest thing was that I didn't come from financial resources, so I didn't have a parent that knew what money actually did. I grew up on food stamps. My grandmother was only able to put food on our table because of the government assistance. So when I got into the real estate industry, which was really my first time really trying to understand money and getting into money, I didn't know what to do with it. So everything I did was wrong, overpriced vehicles, overpriced living situations, and just continued to follow my face until I actually bumped into somebody that was willing to talk to me about what money looks like. Living paycheck to paycheck I didn't know anything. That was the thing. Believe it or not, I love my mom to death. My mom still lives paycheck to paycheck. She still believes in what it was the statement they used to say when I was younger, robbing Peter to pay Paul. So you take it from one situation to the next situation to pay bills. And it's just a habit that was created in my household that I had no idea about. And then when I finally learned it, got it under control, then in business, I could actually start to level up, get to a point to where I could grow my business because I could financially afford to bring other people into the organization. But before then, I'm still hitting my head. I'm still struggling. I'm like, okay, but I'm closing 6 deals and I still look like I'm closing 1. Like, how is that no one ever taught me finances in order to understand how to grow money. Believe it or not, the pandemic was one of the best things that ever happened in my case because I actually started understanding the stock market. All these years of life, I always felt like that was somebody else's lane. Oh, I don't know how to do that. That's not for me to do.
Yeah.
Man, I don't learn how to do that. Come on, man. Listen, I'm eating forever.
Yeah.
But that would
that's
answer the
good.
question.
That's good. I love that. But I love how God always will bring you someone or right. Either you'll be online and you'll see for a conference and you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? Or Larry, like you or all of us, T, on the path, he'll put someone in your path who will say, hey, I believe in you and I want to pour into you. It's up to you if you take the knowledge or not, right?
That's right.
But I believe T, you Larry, well, okay, so the biggest business mistake and you bounce back, basically hardships, you learn your lesson.
The biggest one I would say was just not understanding finances and not knowing your numbers, because this goes back to what T said in the very, very beginning of this thing, is not knowing your numbers. And I was one of those males that at that time, now I didn't have social media to lean on or YouTube or Google to lean on, but I'll say I didn't know my numbers. And so I continued to fall into that financial ditch over and over again. So it goes back to what T said exactly, knowing my numbers.
But it's failure. You gotta fail to get this. Everybody has done it. Everybody. That's good, Larry. Because food stamps, we need to hear you grew up with food stamps, right?
I did.
Because somebody's like, oh, so what? He went to college. So what? Just because you got your education, people, doesn't mean you're gonna have it all figured out. Okay, we all make mistakes, but that's good. UT.
Yeah, I think similarly, mine is a financial mistake. I've been through. I figured out early on, the making sure I had enough money, because I also grew up with very little, single mom, daddy on crack, like in jail, all the things.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Money for us was not something we talked about. It was just, when we talked about money, it was because we were like, we need some to do something with it.
Yeah.
So I didn't grow up really managing money, and had to learn that in my adulthood after college. But when I did start looking at my money, this is when I actually made my mistake.
Yeah.
So this current business is the first one I've had where my money is all in front of me. So my coaching business, like when I was an event planner, pretty much everything else I've ever done, people pay me ahead of time before I executed the work. I required that. It was in the contract.
Yeah.
But this company, most of my money is invoiced and is ahead of me because of partnerships with corporations, because people are on payment plans for the program, things like that.
Yeah.
So there was a time where I was looking at the money and the amount of money in my account and was not making sense to me, even though we were spending money. And I was like, the money is not there. What is the problem? And what I was doing was counting money and spending money before I actually had it in a really negative way. And so I had to learn really fast that when you invoice someone, until that invoice is paid, you don't have that money. So you have a fail safe in place. You have to have cushion in place. And I took a hard hit with that. But this is what I'll say for people, which is why I preach knowing your numbers. It knocked me off my ego was bruised, y'all. My husband had to be like, you need to stop. Like, you got to get over it. My ego was bruised. I'm Tierra. I plan, y'all. I take care of my business. But this, I was like, how did I not see it? What I had to celebrate was that I saw it because I was looking.
Yeah.
And then I could do something about it because, again, like I said, the money was in front of me. So I think for me, when I tell other business owners, I've been like telling everybody, it's like, let me tell y'all what I did, because I need you to know I also made huge mistakes that meant I had some unpaid invoices because I didn't have a fail safe in place. And I had to call people like, I'm gonna pay you, but like not until August. I had to ask for some grace. but what I say to people is when you know your numbers, you can do something about it. You
Yes.
can get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, there are major corporations that go bankrupt, bounce back from bankruptcy. They are still selling you stuff.
Yeah.
Still selling you stuff. You are still walking in their stores. You are still patronizing their businesses. And that could be you too as a small business owner. But you have to be looking at your numbers, and you have to be responding to it when you see the gaps and the dips and all the things. And you can't ignore it, which is what I feel like we do in our community a lot for lots of reasons. We say, oh no, it's terrible, I don't want to deal with it, so I'm gonna put it over there, and it snowballs. And it snowballs. So I think that's mine. And whoever wants to know the full story, I'm gonna tell y'all it's a very expensive lesson to learn.
Let me tell you one of my I shared with you buying things I didn't need to buy, right? I've had it to where my bank accounts were in the red. Wasn't a good situation, y'all. Let me tell you how crazy I was. I was in such a dark place. And I tell people that but sometimes you got to be in that, because I made a major money mistake that I will never make again. But God had to, right? Sometimes God gets you out of it immediately, but he's like, Dawn, you're going to sit in this thing. Because you will never do this. And trust me, I will never do it again. But the thing is, I learned that, man, I will never do that again. And I still remember, because I had to work a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, because you got to do what you have to do. But my bank accounts were in the red. The electric company talking about, hey, we can't take this card no more because lady, sorry, y'all. You know what I mean? I'm doing what you have to do. And I didn't want to work a minimum wage job. Now, you're going to have to, not that you think you're too good, but I had to be humbled as well.
Yeah.
And you have to see, you got people with doctorates who are working in Walmart. You got people who are working in McDonald's but you have to sit in that. And also it allows you to see other people. It's not just about you, but it was a major mistake, and I will never do that again. But I'm going to tell you, when them bank accounts were in the red, I was just, it was, but we had to do it. But also I find another thing, and y'all let me know what you think about this. We can make money, but we don't know how to make it grow. That's the thing. We make money, but you got $100,000 just sitting there, right? And then a sister shared with me, she knows somebody who's a multimillionaire, but she didn't own any real estate. Again, we make money, but how do we make it grow? God bless you, Kathy. Yeah, I'm telling you. But it's real, y'all. So what do you think about that? Because we can make money, y'all. And Robert Brown says very true. We're making it, but how do we make it grow, Larry? You know what I mean?
No, I totally, I am, like I said, I had an opportunity. Now, I was always in real estate because, I always felt like real estate was going to be my retirement, not the brokerage firm itself, but the ideal of owning real estate, being able to financially gain income from monies paid out to real estate. Now, I just recently, over the last 2 years, really started understanding the stock market. Was I always invested? I was, because I always had a financial advisor, because the world told me that I needed a financial advisor. And then when I had an opportunity to study this stock market thing myself, I started to understand that person or that human being, I could make more money just making reasonable decisions myself with just dollar cost averaging. I'm not a stock picker. I go in, I dollar cost averaging. What that means for those people that have not had an opportunity, a small amount of my income every single month, I put into certain ETFs or bodies of stocks that are all inside of one portfolio. So you may have Google, iPhone, and all of those things all in one opportunity that's making money. One gentleman that I learned from really gave me some nuggets, and I invested heavily in just the ones they just dollar cost average in. I'm not overthinking it because I need my money to grow. And the thing is the stock market has shown that you leave your money in, it grows. And most of the people that are in financial freedom, they got real estate and they got some stocks, heavy real estate and some stocks. You got to find a way for your money to work for you. Like, that's ultimately our vision, our dream. We can bust our back as often as we want to, but you have got to. And the younger you choose to do this, the quicker you will find financial freedom. That's why a lot of times we see people that are hitting financial freedom and not even worried about 65, because by 45 or by 65, they're actually hitting their numbers. But it's really about putting it in diversified opportunities. And again, I do both. I do real estate, and it's not even the point that I do real estate where I buy and hold my own properties. But I actually partner up with other people that make crowd fund, and they paying 20% a year on deals. 20%, for those of you that are out there that think, oh, 20%, that ain't nothing. 20% is a lot of money. Your bank is taking 3% a month from you, right? Your money is depreciating in the bank 3% a month. So if I'm telling you that somebody's gonna give you 20% to hold $1,000 or $100,000, they're gonna pay you 20% a year. That is very, very good money. The stock market alone typically brings in about 10%. If you're doing it with a real estate partnership, you can probably get about 20% a year on your monies. But yes, at some point, you've got to put your monies in vehicles that's going to create more money, and you can loan it out. I mean, I don't have any problem. I bump into people that start small businesses or they do tax businesses, and they don't, every year they blow their cash. They don't fund it themselves. Well, I'm right there for you. You're going to pay me, for that. I'll do it. I'll help you start it. Give me my 20%. I loan money, 20%. I'm okay with that.
I heard my mama said, she said, it's not how much you make, it's what you do with it.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because you have a person who's making $60,000 a year who has more than the person at the end of the year who's making. I mean, an accountant told me she has clients who make six figures who have nothing to show at the end of the year.
That's right.
Or who make large amounts of money, but they have nothing to show at the end of the year. We can make it, but we have to. And T, you said manage. Manage was the key word. And if you don't know their sources, Kathy says we have to go back and understand that people are not woke. Well, we wake up now. We woke now, Kathy. The alarm has been set, Kathy.
We're doing it right now,
We're waking them up. But see, my thing is the alarm is going off. You can't keep pressing snooze.
Right. Right.
Okay. Because time, y'all, it just seems yesterday we were in high school. Now we in our 40s. Time's going by. Next thing you know, we're going to be 60, 70. You don't want that to be you. You don't want that to be you. Now, that's very good. That's good, Larry and T. Now, T, what is your biggest? Did you tell us your biggest business mistake?
I did. I think I'll add to the. I think there's a lot of.
Add to what Larry said.
The personal investment piece I think is really important. Everything Larry said. I don't even need to repeat that. I think the other thing I would add for business owners is invest your money in things that are going to make you money.
Oh, yes.
So we spend a lot of money in our businesses. To your point earlier, Don, like you talked about websites and things like that. I'm like, if you're investing $5,000 in building this website, what's the return on it?
Come on.
How much money are you actually going to make utilizing said website? If you're getting, like I talked about assistant earlier, you're hiring the assistant. How is the assistant going to make you money? If you can't, especially as a new business owner, you probably don't need an assistant. What you probably need somebody who is going to help you generate revenue. So where's your revenue gap? Now fill it with somebody for that. But I think what we do a lot of times is we have money, we spend it on the things that we think make up a business.
Yeah. I was there. Yeah.
Well, I've been there. I had done all those things you said. And then
got merch sitting up, y'all.
Four people went to that website. And the only people that had a t-shirt was my sister and my husband.
Okay, come on.
And I'm going to tell you, and that was in a time when all of my business, I was getting clients all the time, just never from social media, never from a website. I didn't need a business card. It was all coming word of mouth. So I would say, really spending your money on things that are going to make you money as a business.
That's good.
And spending money on people that are going to make you money.
That's good.
I think we invest in things that become liabilities to us. We don't invest in things that are going to make us money or translate to assets.
Wow. That's good. Now,
assets is important,
we have a question for you all. She said, let me see. She said, same nonprofit. Kathy runs a nonprofit. Same tips she can utilize, right? She says some nonprofit people complain about being out of pocket, but won't follow the steps to use other people's funds because someone told them God's going to drop it out of the sky. And God, you have to use discernment, people. Even when you're running a nonprofit struggling. Larry, I'm sure you've seen that. You have a nonprofit. T, don't you have a nonprofit?
We don't have a nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
We pay nonprofits to build your business build your nonprofit like a business.
That's
you
good.
have to. It's really the same system. It's set up based on the same principles. You go through the same steps in order to incorporate the organization. So you use the same principles. The thing about a nonprofit that should make you feel comfortable is that you can ask people for funds to put into your nonprofit as long as you're going to do the things that you said you're going to do for the community or for the public with those funds. But so I always tease a friend of mine. I'm like, bro, you borrow money enough. You need to be in a nonprofit where you can help them generate income. Because as a grown adult, if you feel comfortable just asking for something all the time, that's a different kind of secret sauce. So but I said, listen, man, don't be asking. If you asking like that, you need to be the president of a nonprofit because you can bring in funds if you that bold. You need to be bold.
You need to be somebody's executive director.
Executive director. You can just ask. But like, listen, I ain't got it today. Me, Bart, listen, come on, right? You can bring in funds. If you're an adult, you have no problem.
Yeah, nonprofits too. They but it's a lot going on with that. Y'all know where I'm going, And Kathy says, I'm not struggling. I can't keep up with all the blessings because the foundation is there, Kathy. Kathy's got like Walmart, all these. And I'm telling you, and this is what I'm going to say as we end this, and I want to hear from you all. There's some, let me tell you, it doesn't, you can feel like a fraud if you don't get things straight. Right? I don't want to be a fraud. There's some things that you're going to have to get straight. It can only be so long because who said it? You will be exposed, right? You will be exposed. The Dr. Dawn doesn't want to be. She didn't handle that. She didn't get that. I thought you see what I'm saying? There's some things, and it only takes 15 minutes a day to do this or to do that. And set goals every month. It doesn't have to be these big, outrageous goals, right? Just little things, because it's going to make a difference. So it's between you and God. He's already told you. Just get it done. And if you don't know, go to Google, go to Larry, go to T. There are resources out there to help you. But I don't want it to be on my spirit. Now, Dr. Don, how can you tell people to take care of this and you ain't taking care of it? You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to be we don't need to be a fraud. You ain't going to see me taken out in handcuffs for some tax foolishness. So you see what I'm saying? Let's get it straight now. And get your money right. Get out of the red, people. Yeah. I know red's on the banner here, but that's for the marketing. Okay? I'm just saying, get it straight now. And God's going to bless you. Don't you see he blesses us when we take the steps, y'all?
Right. I tell people, like, you can get caught with your pants down.
Yeah.
Or you can get caught just unbuckling your belt.
Come on.
Your belt is unbuckled. All you got to do is say, you know what, excuse me.
Yeah.
But when your pants are down, you're already exposed.
That's right.
I would rather you catch me trying to fix it than to catch me when I didn't do nothing about it. And now my pants are down around my ankles and I can't do anything to cover myself up.
That's right.
And I always tell people too, like, God is, if God forgave you and he forgave you the moment you said sorry, then it doesn't matter what everybody else is thinking.
That's
because
right.
he's going to bless you with so many other people that are going to see you in your right season, standing in your green pasture.
Yeah.
And those people who like want to stay with you over there in the dark, those wasn't your people anyway.
That's right.
You need to be talking to those people.
That's right. Come on now.
Everybody who is meant to be with you will come over when you get to greener pastures, and everybody who stays back or continues to judge you wasn't meant to be.
That's right.
To reap blessings with you. And that's
and why do you need two assistants now anyway? You might need to go to bed at 1 a.m. and save that money. Come on. I mean, Larry, am I right about it? You ain't got that much business right now to need two assistants.
Yeah.
Does that make sense for you to pay somebody all day? Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all, what I'm looking for is passion too. I can't teach. What did the business owner say? I can teach skill, but I can't teach character. I got to see you're at least hungry. Larry T, you don't want somebody walking in your company and they just don't care. Y'all, I said, God, bless me with the right people. Bless me with my divine dream team that he has. I stopped putting it out on social media, looking for an intern, I ain't looking for nobody. God, you'll bring them, just like a husband. He'll find me. God will bring you the right people, because these people, I'm telling you, but that's another story. What are we talking about? Sometimes I be getting so caught up in what. That's how right, Larry? Didn't we do this? Yeah. Sometimes the conversation's so good, and it's like people are family. We just have real talk.
That's right.
We have to address it. Now, Larry and T, give me your final words of wisdom, because Larry has he's got the conference tonight. It's not party don't stop. Larry, yeah.
No doubt about it.
Kathy says exactly. Be hungry to do some late nights.
Yeah.
Go
Late nights are
ahead.
important.
Yeah, Larry has a conference party don't stop. He's got to go downstairs. Go ahead, Larry.
You always got to be networking and building your opportunities. And, right now, that's a big part of what I do. I go out to conferences, and conferences give me an opportunity to see things that I didn't know, right? We talked about that earlier. You don't know what you don't know. So always, if you're looking to get into business, if you're just trying to grow whatever space you're in as a part-time business, understand that at some point you've got to financially put back into yourself, and that's you hiring a coach, an expert of what you're already doing, or you going to conferences and visiting and having conversations with people that are leveling up, and you're looking like, I want to level up as well. You got to find these people that you can really connect to, that they don't know what they're missing. Like I didn't, and when I started visiting these conferences, I really started to see what people talk about when we talk about the differences that we just don't know. Is different lingo, different words. I may say something, somebody don't get it, and they won't say, I don't get what you mean. You're learning that as you come in contact with people. So for those of you that are out there that are looking to grow, man, I'm Larry W. Brooks. I've had an honor and a pleasure sitting with my friend Dr. Dunn and really just talking to you all about business. And if you're looking to grow or get into that space, I love an opportunity to speak with you about it. And like I said, the trusting consistency is the biggest thing if you're new to business, if you're in business and you feel like it's not clicking, just stay consistent. It's a business model out there that has worked for everyone, but you got to do the things that you don't see. You don't see the fruits yet, but you're putting in the work behind it.
Yeah. I love that. You got it. And if you don't know how to network, ask Larry. Can I shadow you at one of your events?
You know what I mean? Relationship currency. That's my thing. Relationship currency. I'm all for it. Yeah.
Right. Hey, Farrell. How are you, brother Farrell? Ask Larry, can I shadow you? I just want to, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Now, look, you got to buy your own ticket now to the conference. Larry, are you covering that? Is that part of the Larry Brooks package?
Hey, look here, that point. They got to cover their own ticket now.
Hey, I'm just saying. Yeah. Don't show up to the conference and then, Larry, you got my room? No, you got the couch in the lobby. Now, I don't know you like that. Anyway, yeah. Hey, come on now. T, give us your final bit, because people will play. No, this is not a grant program.
I heard you getting my scholarships. That's what I heard. But the Larry Brown scholarship, but whatever.
Hey, he just said he gives people money that's what I heard, right? Didn't you hear that, T? If you're struggling a little, I'll give you the money.
Do we apply, or is it just automatic, like a call? Like what is
that?
Hey, y'all got a whole new conversation going on over here.
Larry usually doesn't not say anything. He's like, let me bow out of this. He gonna act like he got technical difficulties in a minute. But this is being put on my YouTube channel. So Larry, clear that up. Put your disclaimer out.
I got you. Yeah.
Go ahead,
T. My last thing is, y'all, you were not unsuccessful because you were Black.
Yeah, that's good.
Black is brilliance. Racism exists, but oftentimes I hear us say, well, Black people, we really have a hard time in business. Black people, we can't get no loans. Black people, we have bad credit. And I'm like, all those things are not happening to you because you're Black. Mm-hmm. All those things are happening to you because you haven't made the choice to take the next step to undo maybe some of the things some mistakes that you made, or to bounce back, or to just simply move forward. So for me in business, I tell people, you got to establish a strong foundation for yourself.
That's right.
If you're feeling rocky in your business, you probably need to pause, look at the numbers, get a plan to move forward, take some time to identify who you're talking to before you go out there talking. So identify who your audience is, get clear about where those people are, go to those places, say the right things, be okay with your price. And show up, not just simply aligned to your brand and as your authentic self, but show up how your audience needs to receive you.
That's right.
That is so important. And so I think for me, my thing that I'm preaching this, y'all. I mean, my whole company's built on it, but I'm really preaching, establish a strong foundation for yourself and stop making excuses with all the love I can muster. Stop making excuses. There is no excuse that's holding you back. And for us at She Can Work, we specifically are on a mission to increase the number of successful Black women-owned businesses.
Yes.
I want to make sure that Black women know that your lack of venture capital is not off limits to you when you get real ready for it. That loan is not off limits to you to grow and scale. If you walk into the bank and you have that business bank account and you have your strong financials and you have that business plan in hand, if they tell you no, you ask them why. And if that why is attached to your race, well, that's racism, y'all. That's illegal. If that why is attached to not having credibility, you got to go back and say, what in my bank statements shows that I'm not credible. If you have no bank statements, boo, you ain't ready for the loan. So I think for me, I want us to continue to build strong businesses by ensuring our foundation is strong. I believe that Black women are some of the most powerful beings on the earth. I think we are extremely brilliant. Larry, as a Black man, I feel like you have a whole bunch of strengths also, but baby, Black women, Black women is something different. Okay. So if you are a Black woman who is looking to really establish the foundation in your business and want to do that surrounded by a community of sisters in entrepreneurship and people who are going to keep it real with you while also building you up and making sure you got what you need, then you should follow us on Instagram at She Can Work, a $10 event. When I say click the link to register, come. And then you can learn more about our programs at shecanwork.org. At the end of the day, though, whether you come to me or not, y'all build these businesses from the bottom up. Don't go out here just trying to make money. Corporations are not built on side hustle money. That's not how it works.
Yeah. If you want to do big business, you got to act like big business. Before I let you all go, give us your favorite scripture verse to keep you strong in your business journey.
So I would say for me, and I'm not even sure what the scripture is, but the faith of a mustard seed. He talks about the faith of a mustard seed. If I could just get more people to mold that or get that something in, because we're talking about the mustard seed is something that is barely seen with the eye. It's very, very small.
It's so
but if
small.
You can just have faith of a mustard seed, guys, I guarantee you, your successes and your stresses will kind of dissipate. Pray about it. Give it the faith of a mustard seed. And leave it alone. Don't stress about it. Get it off your back. That's that would be
man. T, beautiful, Larry. You, T?
I do not also have a scripture. I'm not a scripture quoter. But I tell people to look. But I tell people to look to Job.
Okay. Yeah.
He went through so many things. So this, when I talk about excuses, there is no excuse.
That's right.
You can go through so many things, but if God is waking you up in the morning time and still allowing you to breathe, whether you have boils on your face or credit card debt or whatever it is, if you are getting up in the morning time to breathe, that means he put you on assignment for that day at least. So go out and do what he told you to do regardless. My family has called me Job my whole life because I've been sick a lot. But what I've learned is that my testimony has always been, I used to think my testimony was about survival because they called me that, but my testimony is really about obedience. Get up and Job's testimony is about doing what God told him to do, even though he was going through all of those turmoils. So be like Job, y'all.
And we ended at that. I tell you, I always have to end with the scripture, right? Because people, you need to lean on it. She gave you Job. Larry said faith the size of a mustard seed. He grew up with food stamps, and look at him now. T shared about her family upbringing, and look at her now. There is no excuse, people. That's why I bring people to the table. We talk about the prosperity, but we got to talk about the past.
Yeah.
Blessings to you, Larry.
Thank you.
The W stands for wealth, but the W don't stand for, I can't make up. Don't ask me.
I know. I received
Larry, don't ask me for no money proofs. But yes, God bless you both. T, wonderful meeting you, darling. Don't be a stranger. You all have a wonderful evening. Let's read this last comment before Proverbs 16:3. Now look, Dr. Don loves the word. I think I know what that scripture is, but I'm about to look it up on my phone. Ain't no shame. We got to take the mask off, right? Let me read this real quick. Proverbs 16:3. Let me see. Okay, commit your everything to the Lord. Commit everything to the Lord, and it will be established. I love that. I love that. Do y'all see how commit everything to the Lord, and it will be successful? Yeah.
Yep.
Do y'all see how I ain't faking it? Dr. Don loves the scripture, but I don't have everyone by heart. Yeah. We got to stop faking it, y'all. I want to say God blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, everyone who has been on this streaming, who's listening online through the app. God bless you, T and Larry. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bless you all. I'm telling